We're in the middle of a discussion on Dir B'Tachtonim. And this is the last shiur on the sugya of Dir B'Tachtonim. The idea that a Yid, through his avodah, brings godliness down into his brain, into his body and animal soul, into his gashmis, into the world around of him. It says the Rebbe Bazeh Yuvan, this explains one final point, and that is the union of tzedakah. That the Chazal spoke extremely highly of b'mailas tzedakah, what the union of tzedakah. And they said, that tzedakah is equal to all the mitzvahs. B'chol Talmud Yerushalmi, the entire Gemara Yerushalmi, he nikir b'shem mitzvah stam. In the Gemara Yerushalmi, the word for tzedakah is mitzvah. They didn't say tzedakah, it said mitzvah. And it said, I'm going to do a mitzvah, they meant to give tzedakah. This was the conduct. In those days, likrei tzedakah b'shem mitzvah stam, to call tzedakah the generic name mitzvah. B'pnei shi ikera mitzvahs maisius. It is the core of all mitzvahs maisius. Emphasis on the word asiyah, maisius. Ve'el al kulon, it's above them all. Shakul on Iraq, because when you do any mitzvah other than tzedakah, the effectiveness is lahalas nefesh achinus l'adishem, to lift up the animal soul to the Eibishter. As we discussed, the maila of asiyah, shehi hamakayem eseisim, which is what's doing the mitzvah. Umislabeshes bohen, and the mitzvah is invested in the nefesh habahamis, which becomes a garment for the mitzvah. And as a result, likol bein seiv barachot, to become included in the insaif hamalubush bohen, which is in the mitzvah. So when you do mitzvahs, you bring down Ein Sof, what we called in Perek Lamed Hey. The Shechina rests on your Nefesh HaBahamis. However, there is no mitzvah. That the animal soul is that invested in mitzvah tzedakah like tzedakah. Is that any other mitzvah? You're investing one part of your body, one limb, one faculty of your animal soul, b'shas ma'isa mitzvah, when you do the mitzvah levad only. Aval b'tzedakah, as opposed to when a person gives tzedakah, sha'adam neisim yigi, a cup of you giving the toil of your hands. Says the Rebbe, kol keach nafshei achayunas, the entire power of the animal soul. Melubish is revealed and manifest. Ba'asiyas malachtim, you're doing your work, or eisek achar, or other preoccupation. She'nistaker bein mois elu, with which you earn this money. When a person works for gelt, they put their whole neshama into that. And therefore, when you then give tzedakah, the entire animal soul goes up to Hashem. So the point is, when you do a mitzvah, each mitzvah corresponds to a particular limb of the spiritual body, and it corresponds to the one limb of the physical body. But tzedakah comes from earnings, and earnings you make a nefesh for. And therefore, the money that you're giving not one piece of your body, the whole goof. And don't forget, the gelt is gematria blota, as you know. It's the same as takazeh. It's the lowest chaymed, as it were. V'gam, moreover, or even, a person who doesn't have to work so hard. In other words, tzedakah, money is not blood. We call it still. Hayel sins. With this money, you could buy life for his neshama, his animal soul. In other words, even if I won the lottery, or I'm independently wealthy, or I have investments, I'm not working hard, but I could use the money to buy for myself very important things. It says, you're giving away money which you could use for your own life, you're giving away life to the Eibishter. These are the miles of tzedakah. Your whole neshama is invested in tzedakah. People work very hard for parnasa. I mean, parnasa is b'siras nefesh. B'nafshe yavi lachmi, it says in Siddur. And even if parnasa is a little bit easier, but you could use it for your nefesh. So when you're giving tzedakah, you're not giving an aspect of yourself away, you're giving your whole self away. Which is why the Gemara says, Yula brings the Yula close. But tzedakah achas, one act of tzedakah. Ma'ila harbe min nefesh achayunos, lifting up a lot of the animal soul. Mashalei ha'yachal lahalis mimena kol kach keches, you couldn't lift up this many keches, so the nefesh habahamis, ubechinas and aspects, bekamo mitzvahs ma'isiyas acheres, with many other mitzvahs. Stop, that's the end of the shiur. And what is the message? The message is that tzedakah is the asiyah of asiyas. If mitzvahs have a mile over Torah in terms of dida b'tachteinim, tzedakah has a mile over other mitzvahs in terms of dida b'tachteinim. I just want to tell you that the Alter Rebbe was absolutely obsessed with tzedakah. Mamish, obsessed. The Igeres HaKedesh, we have 32, 34, 35 letters in Alter Rebbe. The Igeres HaKedesh, at least half of them deal with tzedakah. He was constantly raising money for tzedakah. Und hat gemont von seinen Chassidim. He expected his Chassidim to give tzedakah bis mesiras nefesh. The way Alter Rebbe collected money was every Chassid would be sent by a Adar, a Shliach, who would tell the Chassid how much to give. The Rebbe would say how much to give. And the Chassidim gave. And sometimes they pushed it. It was pushed bread and butter money, and they gave. Because the Alter Rebbe used to say that in the olden days people could reach Elokus through Torah. Then later on they reached it through tefillah and fasting. We cannot reach it, not through Teda, not through tefillah, not through fasting, because we don't have enough guf, we don't have enough cup, we don't have enough hearts. The only thing we do is tzedakah. And Alter Rebbe says the solution to all of our tzaras is tzedakah. And the thing you have to know about Alter Rebbe was that he practiced what he preached, or he preached what he practiced, to be sure. He himself was Meisei Nefesh tzedakah. Alter Rebbe grew up in a wealthy home. He married the richest girl in the entire state of Vitebsk. And he and his wife were poor people, Kol Yemei Chayim, because they gave tzedakah the highest level of Mesiras Nefesh. Because by the Alter Rebbe, this was Avodas Hashem. And this is what he taught us Chassidim, that Avodas Hashem begins with tzedakah, and the middle is tzedakah, and the end is tzedakah, and then you mitzliach in davening, and then you mitzliach in learning, and then you mitzliach in serving the Eibishter, and you save yourself Medina Shal Gehinim. Alter Rebbe was consumed with tzedakah, and here he adds the kvetch of Dira B'Tachteinim. It's not just for us, it's for the Eibishter too. Tzedakah brings the Eibishter back down into this world.